All right, let me ask you something. What if I told you that one simple belief, just one, could be the biggest factor in your success? And no, I'm not talking about raw talent or just getting lucky. This is about something that's completely within your control. Today, we're going to dive deep into the science of mindset. It's a concept so powerful it can literally change how you see, well, everything. Your career, your relationships, you name it.
So let's just jump right in with a question for you. Think about it for a second. When you're faced with a real challenge, a tough problem, that project at work that seems impossible, or maybe trying to learn a new skill, what's your gut reaction? What's that very first thought that pops into your head?
Do you see it as a threat? Something to sidestep because, hey, who wants to fail or look silly? Or do you see it as an opportunity, a chance to roll up your sleeves and actually learn something new? Believe it or not, your answer to that one question says a ton about the mindset that's running the show for you right now. And that, right there, leads us perfectly into the two big ideas we're talking about today, the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. These are the two fundamental paths, so let's break down exactly what they mean. Okay, so first up, we've got the fixed mindset. This is the belief that your basic qualities, your intelligence, your talents, are pretty much set in stone. You're either smart or you're not. You're a natural-born artist, or you'll never be able to draw. It's this idea that you're just working with the hand you were dealt, and that's that. But then, on the complete flip side, you've got the growth mindset. This is the core belief that your abilities aren't fixed at all, not even close. Instead, they can be developed through dedication, through hard work. This whole view just creates this love of learning, and you start to see challenges not as roadblocks, but as, well, opportunities to figure things out. Now, to make this all feel a little less abstract and a little more real, let's see how these two mindsets actually play out. We're going to follow a little story about two kids. Let's call them Jay and Ann. And we'll watch how their inner beliefs completely shape what they do on the outside. Okay, so it all starts with their fundamental belief about the world. Jay, he's operating from that fixed mindset. His whole motto is basically, you've either got it or you don't. But Ann, she's coming from a growth mindset, and her belief is, I can learn anything if I put my mind to it. And this one tiny difference, it changes absolutely everything. So let's put them in a situation. Imagine they're in gym class, and the teacher brings out the vaulting horse. Jay immediately shrinks back. He's thinking, no way, I'm going to fall and look like an idiot. He's terrified of failing. But Ann, she sees it and gets excited. She literally runs towards it. For her, the challenge is the fun part. And she knows that falling is just, well, it's just part of learning how to fly.
Okay, now what happens when they get feedback? Let's say a teacher hands back a paper with a bunch of red marks on it. Jay sees that and takes it super personally. It's like an attack on how smart he is, and he gets all defensive. Anne, on the other hand, she sees those same red marks and thinks, awesome, a roadmap for how to get better. She understands it's not about her, it's about the work. She actually leans in and listens because she knows that's the shortcut to improving. And their whole attitude toward effort? Totally different worlds. Jay is all about the easy road. He's the guy taking the escalator instead of the stairs. If he's learning guitar and hits a chord that's just too hard, he's like, forget it, and puts it down. But Anne, she takes the stairs. She wants to feel the burn. She practices her drums every single day because she gets that consistent effort is the only way you actually get good at anything. And finally, let's look at how they react when other people succeed. This one's really telling. When Jay's friends do well, he feels threatened. It's like their success somehow makes him look bad. But when Anne sees her friends succeed, she feels genuinely inspired. She's their biggest cheerleader because she knows that a rising tide lifts all boats, It helps everyone grow, including her. So this story of Jay and Anne, it's not just a nice little fable, right? It's actually a perfect reflection of how our brains are wired. The science is in, and modern neuroscience has shown us, without a doubt, that our brains are built to grow. They are not fixed, so let's take a look at the actual science behind this. For centuries, pretty much everyone believed that our brains just stopped developing after childhood, that the intelligence you had was the intelligence you were stuck with. That was it. But now, thanks to some pretty incredible science, we know that is just completely 100% wrong. Our brains are amazingly adaptable. And this amazing adaptability has a name. It's called neuroplasticity. Here's the cool part. Every single time you learn something new or practice a skill, you are physically building and strengthening pathways in your brain. You're not just thinking differently, your brain is literally growing and reorganizing itself. Think of it exactly like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets.
And if you want some really powerful proof of this, just look at the studies on identical twins who were adopted and raised in different families. What researchers found was fascinating. The twin who grew up with adoptive parents in an environment that really valued education often had higher intelligence than their identical sibling. What does that tell us? It's a huge clue that our environment, nurture, can actually be more important than our genetics, our nature.
Okay, so our brains are built to grow. That's cool science, but so what? How does this actually show up in the real world? Well, the implications are absolutely massive, everywhere from the classroom all the way to the corner office. I mean, think about today's world. Everything's changing so fast. A growth mindset isn't just some nice little personality quirk anymore. It's essential. Companies are actively hunting for people with this mindset. And why wouldn't they? Technology is always evolving, so jobs require you to constantly learn and adopt. People with a growth mindset, they don't throw in the towel. They see a roadblock and think, okay, puzzle time. They actually want feedback so they can get better. These are the people who drive innovation. In fact, here's a little inside scoop. Some companies have a really clever interview question they use to figure this out. They'll ask a candidate, so, do you think great managers are just born that way, or is management a skill that someone can learn? Now, our friend Jay, with his fixed mindset, he's going to say, oh, they're born. But Anne, she's going to say it's absolutely a skill that can be learned and developed. And guess who gets the job? Anne. Every single time. Her answer shows she's ready to learn, she's ready to adapt, she's ready to grow. And that is exactly what every smart company is looking for these days.
So, here's the most important part of this whole conversation. Your mindset, it's a choice. It's not something you're stuck with. It's something you can build, something you can cultivate. So, the real question is, how do we actually do that? How can we nurture a growth mindset, not just in ourselves, but in the people around us?
Well, Dr. Karol Dweck, the brilliant Stanford psychologist who pioneered all this research, she gives us some really clear practical advice. First, celebrate trying. Praise the effort, not just the final grade. It's about praising persistence. Second, encourage new skills. Support kids and adults in trying anything new that sparks their interest. And why does this matter? Because it leads to the third and most important skill of all. It teaches us how to learn. And that, my friends, is a superpower.
You know, the poet Samuel Beckett nailed the whole spirit of the growth mindset with this one quote. It completely reframes how we think about failure. It's not the end of the road. It's just data. It's a crucial part of the process. The goal isn't to avoid failing. The goal is to learn how to fail a little bit better every single time.
And really, that's what this all boils down to. This isn't about some giant, complicated life makeover. It all starts with one simple internal flip of a switch, just changing how you view a situation. But that one tiny switch, seeing a challenge as an opportunity instead of a threat, that can radically change, well, everything. Not just one moment, but the entire direction of your life. So, there you have it. The science is clear. Our brains are absolutely built to grow. And we've seen how these two different paths, fixed versus growth, lead to completely different places. So the only real question left for you is, which path are you going to choose to build for yourself, starting right now?